Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Susan Lugogo. I'm one of the private secretaries of the President, and I'm one of the organizers.
Thank you, everybody. I hope we are all now well settled. Now, in a few minutes, I'll invite our host. But before I invite our host or the convener of this particular press brief, I take the singular honor to introduce before us our senior citizens. First, I want to introduce Honorable Kabuye Tofa Togavye. I'm sure it's a familiar name. Our Minister of State, Kampala Metropolitan Affairs, and our own, who is always there at the forehead, to, especially in the issues of mobilization. And you know, Kampala being the center of the economy, really the whole problem was in his hands. I also want to introduce in a special way our senior colleague, but in the medical fraternity, he's Professor Dr. Bruce Chilenga. Chilenga is the head of the Lung Institute in Makerere. Of course, that is the department of Mulago Training School. But he's also here, first in the biggest capacity, to represent Honorable Dr. Musenero Masanza, who was the chair by then of the scientists. But Dr. Chilenga on his own was the chief clinician. He was the one in the engine of the patients in Mulago. I'm sure you'll want to hear his testimony and how they managed to put this story, which we are going to celebrate on the international arena, where Uganda is recognized internationally beyond even our African border, that we were one of the highest performers to contain the COVID epidemic. Now, without missing or wasting again much of our time, first I should have apologized on behalf of us, the organizing committee, for the delay. We also know that your time is very precious, and kindly accept our apology for missing almost an hour before we could start. Our convener today is none other than His Excellency Ambassador Abe Walusimbi, who is a senior presidential advisor on diaspora, but also who is our local host, the co-convener. He will give you the whole, in my culture they say, Rubaro Mlamu, so I want to be very careful not to unpack his package, but I want to assure you, we are his support behind, and we are so glad that you've turned up to this event. So I take this single honor to invite you, Your Excellency, to come and give your statement and guide us.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sarah Kataitwe, for that kind introduction. Good morning, all of you. Honorable Minister of State for Kampala, Government Senior Representative of the Uganda Government, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ambassador Abe Chigozi Walusimbi, the Senior Presidential Advisor on Diaspora Affairs and Ambassador at Large in the office of the President. My fellow Ugandans, I bring you greetings from the office of the President. We are here today to inform you about the upcoming first ever post-COVID-19 international conference to be held in Toronto, Canada. Yes. I have a press statement here. I hope you got a copy. All of you got a copy? They won't get a copy. Okay. Yes, I'm going to read it before you. Global Award to honor the head of state and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, at the first International Post-COVID-19 Global Conference to be held at the Metro Toronto Convention Center from July 11 to 13th, 2024 in Canada. Our theme will be evaluating the impact of COVID-19 on humanity, building synergies and resilience for future global shocks. And the Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, Her Excellency Jessica Alupo, will head the delegation from Uganda to Canada to attend this conference. A preamble. A team of international organizers, Livelihood Development Initiatives International in Canada, in partnership with the Canadian government, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, the African Union, 6th region, this is the African Union Diaspora, Global Affairs of Canada, World Health Organization, Continental Investment, Vietnam, United Nations Agency working to promote health, have organized the first international post-COVID conference scheduled to take place on July 11th to 13th in Toronto. The Office of the Ambassador and Senior Presidential Advisor on Diaspora Affairs in the Office of His Excellency the President is responsible to organize and coordinate the local events, which included putting in place the local organizing committee, volunteers, delegates, awardees, exhibitors, and general hosting conference. The fountain of honor, His Excellency the President, will be awarded at a global platform. To acknowledge his distinguished leadership, dedication in fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, and to recognize his significant role he played to lead Ugandans that required high-level visionary and decision. To recognize Uganda as a role model for pandemic containment in Africa. He will to be commended over his successful fight and management of COVID-19 pandemic, which prevents the rest of the world, causing untold deaths. He encouraged the scientists. His Excellency the President set up the Presidential Scientific Initiative on Epidemic to work with partners to strengthen Uganda's capacity to prevent, detect, and respond to public health threats such as COVID-19 pandemic. The event will also be recognized other Ugandans who played a central role during the fight of COVID-19 pandemic. This selection has been widely and carefully consulted to cover nominees from the academia, innovators, frontline health care, private sector, and government. These are the nominees. Number 2, Her Excellency Dr. Speciosa Wandira Kaziwe, our former Vice President of the Republic of Uganda, for the significant contributions and roles she played during the pandemic, the dedication and commitment to advancing public health, particularly in challenging times like the COVID pandemic. She deserves acknowledgement and appreciation. Number 3, Honorable Dr. Monica Musenero Masanza, the Minister of Science, for Science, Technology and Innovation. Dr. Musenero served as a Senior Presidential Advisor on epidemics, providing expertise to the government of Uganda, consultant and epidemiologist. She worked as a consultant epidemiologist to the government of Uganda, playing a key role in shaping the country's response to the pandemic. As a member of the National COVID-19 Task Force, Dr. Musenero contributed to the development of strategies to combat the virus. Public education and awareness. She engaged the public education and awareness efforts, speaking to the media and the public about COVID-19 and addressing myths and misconceptions about the virus. This guidance saved many lives. Leadership in epidemic control. With her experience in epidemic control, everything with Dr. Musenero is epidemic control. Dr. Musenero played a crucial role in guiding Uganda's response to COVID-19, building on her previous work in controlling Ebola outbreaks in the region, in the entire region. The fourth, number 4 is Honorable Dr. Jane Rose Achen, Minister of Health, for the committed engagement throughout the COVID-19 battle and building resilient health care system. Support to health journalists. She provided training and support to health journalists, enabling them to accurately report on the pandemic and provide useful information on the public. Number 5, Dr. Diana Nzira Atwine, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, for her pivotal role in health communication and management during the crisis. She was a key player in Uganda's response to COVID-19 response. Number 6, Professor Oceano Kalevo, and the Uganda Virus Research Institute. The scientists led by Professor Kalevo at Uganda Virus Research Institute for their groundbreaking research in COVID-19 treatments and vaccine development.